What's up guys, it's Cobalt here and welcome back to another video. By now I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard of the company KikaGoods. They've partnered with a bunch of YouTubers that you guys already know and love, and guess what? Now they're partnering with me for today's video. And I'm super excited about it. Like, this is kind of crazy. And a lot of this goes to the huge success of one of my recent videos where I created an LPS doll custom. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing again in today's video. So I explained this to KikaGoods and they offered to send me another ball joint doll body. They have a ton of these on their website, so if that interests you at all, whether or not you're a toy customizer, I would definitely suggest going to check it out. And of course, I'll be linking their store and social media accounts down below in the description. Alright, so here is the package that KikaGoods sent me. I was really surprised to see that this figure comes in like a box that's shaped like a book. I don't really know what I was expecting at all, but this packaging is adorable. Already loving this figure. I think this box is just so cute, and I don't know what I'll put in here, but I will absolutely be saving it for future uses. Anyways, here is the figure. I'm also surprised about this because my first reaction was that its head is giant, and that made me a little bit nervous at first because for a split second I thought that the body would also be too big for the project that I have in mind, but luckily it's just the head that's completely oversized. The body is a perfect size for what I'll be doing later in the video. I was also surprised to see that the version of this product that KikaGoods decided to send me is one that is already pre-painted. So right off the bat, if this is something that you're interested, I already think this is an adorable figure, and if you're interested in purchasing it for yourself, I will be linking it down below in the description, but I believe this also comes in other designs and an unpainted version as well. So as a quick little review of the figure before we get into customizing it, it has really nice articulation. This is my second time sort of experiencing one of these ball joint dolls, and it's a little bit different than the first one that I used. This reminds me a lot more of a standard action figure, which is something that I personally collect a lot, so I'm not really sure if this is considered the same thing as a ball joint doll. Let me know down below in the comments, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are a lot more knowledgeable on this subject than I am, but I thought the articulation is really nice. As standard, it has articulation in all of its joints, like its shoulders, its elbows, its hips, its knees, its ankles, and I also really like the fact that its like stomach and chest are also articulated, so you can kind of turn it up and down. The head and the tail are both removable, and they connect with a little ball joint that just sort of snaps on, and then you can turn and rotate it from there. But aside from that, neither of those pieces really have a ton of articulation, but I do like the fact that they are removable, especially the head, because obviously for this project, I'm only going to be using the body. So now it's time to start on the customizing project. Like I said, I'm going to be taking this and combining it with my niche of content, which is Littlest Pet Shop Customs. Littlest Pet Shops are a brand of little bobblehead animal toy, and I've been collecting them for pretty much my entire life, and I've also been customizing them for over 8 years now, and it's really cool to see that the LPS custom community has started to branch out into making anthropomorphic doll customs like this one, and the one that I made in one of my previous videos. So to attach the LPS head onto this body, I started off by removing the LPS's original body, and I also took out its neck peg because I need to do a little bit of surgery on the neck peg. Basically, this little mechanism is what allows the LPS to have bobbleheads, and I'm using a G7 LPS here, so it's slightly more finicky than the original Littlest Pet Shops from the early 2000s, but mainly I just need this entire large piece. The actual peg itself, which allows for the bobbling, is something that I'm going to remove because based on the size of the ball joint on this doll's body, I think that it actually seems to be the perfect size for me to attach this LPS's head if I just kind of remove this peg so that there's a hole and then I just stick it on. I did end up reinforcing the attachment with a little bit of glue just because the hole was slightly larger than the peg, so it didn't want to stay on fully. Like, technically my plan worked, but it also would just fall off, so I wanted it to be stable. In the future, I'll probably go back in and figure out a way where I can reattach the head so that it's actually still movable, because right now it is just a static piece. But this is also the point where I realized that the pre-painted body was a blessing in disguise, because it meant that I only had to paint the head of this custom, which is something that I am a lot more used to, and I definitely still need to do more research on the whole doll customizing world because I am not ready to paint another one of these bodies. But by the way, in the last video that I did customizing one of these guys, you all gave me a ton of great advice. So since the body was already painted, this also gave me a general color palette to work off of for the design. So I quickly headed over to my iPad, opened up Procreate, and drew up a quick little design here. So obviously the main color of the body is white, which will also be the base color that I'm using here for the head, and the accent colors on the body are very pastel, pink, purple, and blue. And the body also has little tiny yellow yellow claws, so I think it would be really cute if I somehow combined yellow into this custom as well, and I think I'm going to be using that for the eyes. The paw pads are also heart-shaped, so I sort of want to put a little bit of a heart motif in here as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I definitely want to include little hearts in the eyes because I think that would be really cute. You probably can't tell on camera because I really only recorded myself doing 2 coats, but the white base coat took forever, so thank God I only had to paint the head here. The main reason why I pretty much never do white customs unless it's for a commission is just purely for the fact that it takes such a long time, but luckily Model Color is a really great brand of paint that I would highly recommend, and their white paint is probably one of the best that I've used out there. It's super opaque and super nice, super smooth, but that being said, you still have to use a lot of layers. I probably used like 5 to 10 layers on here. I know that's a pretty broad range, but no way was I going to count that. And from there, I started on the detail work. Luckily, I really didn't have to mix any colors here. I had a lot of colors in my paint collection that already fit pretty well, and the design is super simple, so in general, this was a pretty speedy project for me, which I really appreciated, and that way I could also still get this video out in October and let you guys all know that KikaGoods is currently doing a Halloween sale, so I would definitely recommend going to check that out. Anyways, I also decided to add a little bit of purple to the tail just because I thought that the rest of the body was missing something, and I ended up adding a little purple heart on its chest as well. And once all the detail work was done, I moved on to the eyes. I wanted to make the eyes pretty detailed, and again, I went with that yellow color just to add that back into the design a little bit more and make the whole thing cohesive. The colors for the design on the head are definitely a lot darker than the body, but seeing the final product, I think it turned out really cute and I'm super happy with it. So without further ado, it's time for the reveal. Alrighty, you guys, so here is the final result. I just have her kind of sitting down, and here is a size comparison to a normal LPS. Obviously, it's in LPS's head, and then the body is taken from the figure. So it is quite tall. I will zoom out to show you the full scale of her. But like I mentioned, the articulation of the figure is pretty good. You have all of the movements here, and what I like about this one, none of the joints are connected with a string, so moving them is actually a lot easier, and I don't really feel like I'm going to break anything. I also really like the fact that not only do they move, but you can also rotate them, which is really cool. So now here you can see what it looks like standing up. It took me a little bit to figure out the stand, but it works really nicely and it's super sturdy. I absolutely do not have to worry about this falling over. Again, I had a lot of fun designing this one and painting it. It was fun not only to create another one of these doll customs, but also just to create a design that was inspired by the original product. Of course, speaking of which, I will have a link to this down below in the description if you want to purchase this figure for yourself, uncustomized of course, and I will also put a link to the entire KikaGoods store down below as well. And of course, I gotta thank them once again for sending me this figure to review and customize with you guys. If you've stayed this long in the video, KikaGoods has also supplied me with a discount code, so if you use the code LPS Cobalt 10 on your next purchase with them, you will get 10% off your entire order. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, they also have their ongoing Halloween event, which will last for the rest of the month. Of course, aside from thanking KikaGoods, I also have to thank all of you guys for your support because this video would not have been possible without you guys. I appreciate you so much. Let me know what you think about the finished figure down below in the comments. And now I'm going to take this custom out into the world and end this video off with a little photo shoot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!